I don't typically do things like this, commentary, talk about personal life or anything like that. But tonight I'm just kind of sitting around stuck in my own head. Um, address the address the elephant in the room, why Asmin is on the screen. Not trying to clickbait, which I'm sure a lot of people would accuse me of doing. Um, but I just spent a good part of my evening watching Asmongold's videos, the two videos that are on the screen, of course, about the passing of his mom and sadly, recently, his father. So yeah, I spent a good part of this evening rewatching his videos on these subjects, because I'm kind of been through the same thing. My father passed away back in 2022, and my mother just recently passed away last October. Speaking of which, we're 2 days away from the last day that I spoke to her. So I guess subconsciously, that's why I'm kind of just stuck in my own thoughts tonight. Um, and I don't really have anyone to talk to directly, of course. I mean, I have people that I could call. I have ears uh, that I could talk to and shoulders that I could lean on, but at the same time, I don't want to bring down their mood and their day listening to my bullshit. So I spent a good portion of my evening rewatching Asmongold's videos, just to kind of, I don't know, see someone else going through it. That's one of the points that he puts in both of his videos and pretty much all his videos, is that he tends to want to keep a record of things that take place in his life, just in case that it will just just in case it will help someone else out while they're going through that situation. Which, as men, I do really appreciate that because it's helped quite a bit. I guess that's why I'm doing this right here, right now. This may not see the light of day. Uh, I may not do anything with this, but I'm just kind of stuck in my own head and just want to get some thoughts out. So I'm gonna sit here and talk to my laptop and talk to my microphone. It's but yeah, I'm just kind of sitting here, just thinking like, how the hell did my life turn so quickly like this? I originally tried to watch this video, and then I was thinking, well, I kind of want to get some things out of my head and off my chest and talk, so maybe I can react to it. But yeah, just I'm not that very thought provoking, I guess, because I don't have a lot of feedback throughout the video. As I was watching it, all it really did was just get me stuck in my own feelings and thinking about how life can just switch up so quickly. Um, so yeah, I mean, my dad passed away 2002, and I don't want to give too many details, get too personal, but he wasn't a present father. And I always thought for like a good portion of my life, like, okay, well, when he passes away, it's not gonna be that big of a deal because he was never around anyways, kind of thing. But no, that fucked me up pretty bad. That fucked me up pretty bad, man. You just kind of think like one day you'll be able to work things out and, sit down, discuss any issues that you do have, any grievances, and, it may not be today, may not be tomorrow, but it'll happen one day. And it just never did. Just never did. I wish I could say that growing up I wasn't spiteful towards him, but that's just not how a child's mind works. I would always think that what time we would be able to work it out, but And then just one night, December 26th, 2022, I got the call from my uncle to let me know that uh he was no longer with us. He didn't make it. So of course the obvious question is what happened? Um and then he lets me know that he succumbed to a heart attack, unfortunately. And I noticed at the time, at that very moment, he was like, "Oh, well, we thought he would pull through again, but unfortunately he did not." And that was kind of hurtful. It's kind of hurtful to hear that this was not his first bout with this situation. It was not his first time encountering a heart attack, and yet he still didn't take time to, give me a call, let me know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I just wish he would have been able to talk to me, let me know what was going on with him while he was still here. And as far as him not being present, I mean, he did have his reasons, which I do get. I do respect that. Which of course I won't go into here, but at the same time, I just wish it's something that he would have been able to sit down and have a conversation with me about, and that just never happened. And then, as far as my mom goes, she was really sick. Ended up being in the hospital back in 2020, which of course was very terrifying because I was afraid that she would end up coming out with COVID. Um, Thankfully, she was a smoker for a good portion of her life. And then when my first child was born, she actually quit basically cold turkey, which really do admire about her. That's not something that I've ever been able to do myself, unfortunately. But yeah, anyways, so I mean, my main concern was always that it would be a respiratory issue, lungs, not being as healthy as they should be, like Asmin's mom. Um, so I was afraid that she would come out of the hospital, obviously, with COVID. But no, they ended up misdiagnosing her, and then a year later in 2021, she ended up going back into the hospital, same symptoms, came out with a diagnosis that was not good. Again, not going to go into. She was a really private person. Not even our family knew. She made me, not make me swear, but she let it be known that she did not want anyone in the family to know. So I will continue to respect that. I'm not going to discuss it here, but yeah, from 2021 and on, she just kind of deteriorated, and it's extremely hard to watch one of your parents, especially your mom. Um, I think a lot of people have the fear of facing the day that their mother leaves this world. And that's something that I feared my entire life. Even as a child, if she was like 5 minutes late from returning home from work, the like worst case scenario is already flashing in my head, and I'm thinking I'm never gonna see her again. That was always just a constant fear in my life. And so yeah, she received a diagnosis back in 2021. Unfortunately, she did have a number of trips to the hospital from that day forward. And every time I knew it was coming again because, the symptoms, you start to see the pattern taking place. And when I know that she'll be going back into the hospital, every time she entered the hospital, I was just deathly afraid that this is gonna be it. And every time she managed to pull through. Um, she managed to pull through, come home, have a good couple of months, and then, another occurrence would take place. And then come 2024, I began having some health problems of my own. Um, so in the last few months that she was with us, oh well, I should say the last month or two that she was with us, I was actually in the hospital at the same time. Well, um, she was in a nursing home where supposedly they were gonna treat her, get her back up to par to where she can come home. They really didn't seem like they were doing their job. There were things that they were supposed to give her that never arrived, even on the day that she left. There were certain things in therapy that she was supposed to do that never took place. But yeah, so in the last 3 months of her life were very, very difficult. She wound up in the hospital for three separate situations, unfortunately, for the last 3 months of her life. And then on the last one, of course, she didn't come out. Um, at that time, I was in the hospital myself, going through some things. I went through two surgeries, had some stuff done, and I was just kind of over it. I just wanted to get out of there. I just wanted to get home. So I ended up leaving the hospital, which thankfully I did. I left, of course, against their advice, which a lot of people would, you know, chew me out for that. But in the end, leaving when I did, it gave me 3 full weeks, the last 3 weeks that I would get to spend with my mom. She ended up in the hospital, at which point she was sent to a nursing home. She was in there for like a good, I want to say like 3 weeks before I ended up going into the hospital myself. So this like by the time I was just kind of over being in the hospital and I was just like, I just want to get home. It had been about 4 weeks since we seen each other. And we actually even exchanged a text where she was like, I can't wait till you get home because I can't wait to see you. And you know, we both had the same thought process is like, yeah, this is like the longest that we've ever gone without physically seeing each other, which was insane to think about. Little did we know that it would be the last couple of weeks that we would get to spend together. Um, Going in the hospital, I will say, is a bit of a blessing in disguise for my own situations. Whenever I knew that there was another bout coming because of my fear of losing my mother, I would tend to be a bit of an asshole. And that's one of the things that just kind of weighs on my mind is there was one time where she had to go into the hospital and she apologized. She apologized because she needed medical treatment, and I even asked her, like, "Why are you apologizing?" And she gave me her reason, and I told her, "No." I said, "This nothing else matters except for your health. That's all that matters right now. Everything else is just who gives a shit. Only thing that matters is that you get the attention that you need and you get through this bout." And that's now that she's no longer here, that just kind of weighs on my head even more because I spent the time being very, very short when I knew that the situation was coming up, and it's not because I was angry at her. It was because I was stressed out that, you know, this could be the last time that, I get to see her. She may not come home. Um, and I regret not taking the time to sit down and, just make it clear, like, I'm not upset at you. I'm not upset that you're sick. I'm just upset at the situation and that you have to go through this. And I never got a chance to see that, to say that to her. Um, my point to this is that if you still have your parents, and if you have a good relationship with them, because I know not everybody does, but if you still have your parents, just let them know that you do appreciate them and that you do love them, uh, because you never know. You never know what life is going to throw at you. Uh, One of the last things that she said to me, because the hospital visits were just kind of routine at this point. She was like, "Oh, well, the symptoms, aren't that bad. Maybe like a day or two, and I'll be back." Because of course, like most people, she absolutely hated the hospital. She couldn't stand being there. I don't think I ever made my point, but me going into the hospital was kind of a blessing in disguise, because every time she ended up having to make a trip to the hospital, I would tend to be in a very bad mood and very short-tempered. Not because it was directed at her, but because I was afraid that this would be, it. This would be the time that I would have to survive through the day of her not being here, and that it would be the time that I would have to sit down and tell my kids that Nana is not going to be coming home. And me going into the hospital really did give me a appreciation for what she had been going through. My situation, wasn't, my symptoms weren't as bad as hers were for every visit. So as horrible as the situation was for me, it was nowhere near as bad as what she had to go through every 6 to 8 months. So it really did give me a appreciation for what she's been going through and what she's been pushing through. And so yeah, I mean, I came home, things were looking a little bit better. We were both kind of just walking around in our walkers, around the house, just trying to do our best to get by. We would call my kids over to help us out whenever we needed to do some heavy lifting or move, like the box of cat litter around, get jugs of water in the house and whatnot. So yeah, it's and take this time to give a very special thank you to my kids for always being there whenever we needed help, whenever she needed help. I'm beyond grateful for that. I cannot thank them enough for stepping up and, of course, being able to help out. Thank you so much, guys, for that. But yeah, the last time she went in, she said, symptoms aren't that bad. It wasn't too bad this time, so probably like a day or two, and I'll probably be back out. And I don't know what it was, but like I seriously thought, she'll be fine. It's just they'll do what they need to do, bring her up to par, she'll be back home, and then we can focus on recovering from our respective situations at that time. And that just wasn't the way it played out. I remember sending her a text, which I usually did every morning. When she entered into the hospital, I would send her a text, asking her how she's doing, if there's any news, um, anything that, we need to discuss, or, and, whatever, like, whatever. She never wanted to talk to the doctors. She always wanted them to talk to me, because she was always afraid that she would just kind of forget what they said. So, I would always just kind of check in, make sure see if she needed anything, um, and to see if she let the kids know that she was back in, because of course I just kind of want to touch base. I always try to be very honest with my children, as much as I can, of course, because I don't want to freak them out. I don't, like I already said, I grew up with the fear of, I always feared the day that my mom would leave this world. And that's kind of something I don't want to install in them, but I also do want to be honest with them, let them know what's going on, because that's not something that was always afforded to me, unfortunately, on more than one occasion. So I would check with her, just kind of see how the situation is and see if she told the kids, because, I kind of just want to know what the situation is before I open my mouth and say something. And never got a text back. She never texted me back. Of course, I'm recovering from my own surgery at that point. I had intestinal surgery, and I had lost like about 50 to 60 pounds during my hospital stay, so I wasn't doing too well myself. So I eventually just kind of went through the day the best that I could, and called that night to kind of talk to the hospital staff to see what was going on, and just kind of gave me the same bullshit that they fed us for 4 years. Um, it's not that bad. She'll be okay, and things will be all right. And I just lived in blissful ignorance the whole time, believing that. And now I feel like I just failed her, which I think it's impossible to do. But, when you lose a loved one, and that's everyone, not just my mother, with my father, my grandmother, my uncle, you always have those thoughts like, was there something I could have done? Things could have been different. Things should have been different. I should have did this. I should have did that. I think like no matter what, you always end up with those thoughts. It's rough. It's hard to believe that it's already going on a year. Um, I lost my dad, and that was a big shocker that it affected me so bad. I spent about 2 years just kind of in a fog, in a funk, um, just for things to get even worse. Just to come down with my own health issues and then come into my worst fear becoming reality. And it's insane. It's just insane to think how quickly things can just go south like that. And yeah. I mean, my parents had me at a pretty young age. So I grew up most of my life thinking, they're gonna be there. They'll be there for the majority of my life, if not the entirety of my life. I always thought that I would leave this world before them, and here I am. They're both gone, and I just, like I said, just appreciate the people you have around you, friends, family, parents, grandparents, children, anyone. Just let the people that you love know how much you love them. So, I guess my key points that I'll try to get out in the middle of my ranting, because this is just me blabbering into the microphone. Um, Let the people that you love know how much you love them and how much you do appreciate them, because you never know when they're gonna be gone, which is obvious. I mean, just it's so cliche at this point, but you don't really think about it until it actually happens to you. Um, one of the key points that I just thought about tonight. Gosh, I talked to my mom's best friend from middle school, I believe it was. Uh, I talked to one of her childhood best friends, and I was holding it together pretty well, and then eventually I broke down and told her like, yeah, this woman was fighting through her own pain and her own recovery to take care of me, to try to make me soup, to try to make sure I was fed, to try to make sure that I was comfortable when I got out of the hospital. And I know I really don't want to give too many details, but I mean, fuck it. Bottom line, I have a colostomy bag on me, and I'm fighting through my own health issues right now, which is it's been a very rocky road, and don't know where it's gonna end up. And I really wish he was here. I wish he was here just for me to talk to, 'cause no one cares for you like a mother does, and that's just a fact. Um, she spent the last 3 weeks fighting through her own pain and recovery to try to make sure that I had what I needed and that I was comfortable, and was studying up on how to take care of an ostomy, how to change a colostomy bag, and whatnot. And it just crossed my mind today that if things didn't go the way they did, would I have even appreciated what she did for me those 3 weeks? If she was still here, would I truly appreciate what she did, or do I only appreciate it because she's not here for me to tell her how much that meant to me? Which makes me feel like a real self-centered jackass. Like if I didn't lose her, would I have just brushed off what she did for me those 3 weeks, or would I have actually taken time to appreciate it and vocalize that to her and let her know? I don't know. I'll never know. Um, one of the other points that I wanted to make is basically directed to Asman, who unfortunately had to care for his father in his last couple of weeks, and be there for him by his side while things played out. And that is something that I absolutely could not do myself. So I do respect that. I don't know what words I'm trying to say here, but I do have a lot of respect for Asmongold in that aspect, that he was able to work through that and be there, because that's not an easy thing to do. When they told me that my mom wasn't gonna make it, I eventually made my way down to the hospital. Um, and when reality just started sinking in, the fact of the matter is I wasn't strong enough to be there, and I could blame the surgery, I could blame my recovery, but the fact is I just wasn't strong enough. I was a coward. I couldn't be in the same room as my mother when she passed away, and that hurt so bad. This woman probably would have done anything for me in this world, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't do what Asmongold did. So I'm sorry he had to go through that, and that's a rough thing to do. And I respect him for being there for his father and doing something that I couldn't do. But thankfully, one of my aunts and one of my first cousins stayed by my mom's side until the very end, and I am internally grateful to both of them for doing that. There's no way I can ever repay that or any of the other favors that they've done for me since that day. So if they ever see or hear this, thank you so much for that. Another point that I guess I wanted to throw in here is just try to be honest with each other. I mean, fuck, dude. Why is that so difficult sometimes? There's so much stuff, so many discussions that I've had since the passing of my parents. So many discussions that I wish we could have had while everyone was still here. Instead, these are conversations that people wait to have until, people are no longer with us, and I don't know why that is. That's I don't know if the conversations would have helped, but it would have been nice to discuss certain things while everybody was here. Just try to be honest and forthcoming to the people around you as much as you can, of course. So, yeah, I guess that's it for now. Um, can't really think much. Of course, when I go to lay down and go to sleep tonight, I'm sure a bunch of other things will come to mind that I wanted to say, but my mind is just kind of fogged up with feelings right now, and that's all I could think about. So, yeah, I mean, if you're here listening to this, thank you so much to listen to someone just kind of rant about his feelings. And if you're going through the same situation, just know that you know, like they say, you don't get over it. Things will get better. I'm still waiting for them to get better, but I know, they will one day. It just becomes a part of you with time, and you never get over the loss of a loved one, but you find a way to maintain and exist along with that pain and carry it with you. So yeah, if you're going through the same thing, just know it's not the end of the world, and it does get better with time. It's just gonna take some time. There goes my cat. I don't know if the mic picked that up. Guess that's it for now. I'm gonna go feed this cat since apparently it's that time of the day. Anyways, thank you for listening to my little rant, and thank you to Asmongold for putting out these videos to help people out in difficult situations.